Thank you, everybody, for coming to the Aaron Torres Podcast YouTube page. If you could do me a quick favor, see that little black subscribe button at the bottom of your screen? Go ahead, click that black subscribe button. Really does help our audience grow, really does help our channel grow, really does help and mean more than you could possibly know. So go ahead, hit that little black subscribe button. Also, thank you to our presenting sponsor, Betfred Sportsbook and the Betfred Sportsbook app. Bet 50 on any game, get $250 in free bets. Thank you again to Betfred. Thank you again to you. Now, here's the video that you came here for. Let's get to the biggest decisions that remain. And I don't think there is going to be a bigger program that is going to be more impacted over the next few days than the Kentucky Wildcats. And I'll take it a step further. This might sound like hyperbole. It might sound like Torres is just doing the thing where he exaggerates everything. I don't think it's an exaggeration to say these are some of the 48 most important hours of the John Calipari era. I'm not saying they're the most important, but when you think about what has happened at Kentucky the last 3 years, right? Missed the NCAA tournament in 2021. 2022, you lose as a 2 seed to a 15 seed. 2023, you lose in the second round. So we're now talking about an 8-year stretch with no Final Four. We're talking about what, a 5-year stretch? We're going on 2019 since the last time they even made the second weekend of the NCAA tournament. And I get 2020, they had a team that was good enough to win it with Tyrese Maxey and Emmanuel Quickley. But I bring it up, it's a drought at Kentucky, and the team right now, as I record this second that they have, it ain't looking very good for 2023. Listen, I've gone over this time and time again, but right now, as I record, and things can and will change, Kentucky has 7 scholarship players ready for 2023, okay? We have schools that are filled to the capacity, that have 13 scholarship players, that have 12, that have 11. Kentucky needs 3 more guys just to run 5-on-5 scrimmages. Take it a step further. Of the 7 that are coming back, 5 are true freshmen. You have a redshirt freshman in Ugana Onyenso, who barely played. I believe he appeared in 1 SEC game last year. And you have a Adu Fierro who, listen, I like him. He's fine. He's probably a year away from being a major, major contributor on this team. And so you look at Kentucky. They have missed on everybody in the portal they've gone after, and I've talked about that, and I've criticized the program, and I thought they moved too slow. But right now, the focus has to be on 3 players that are currently testing the NBA draft waters. And the scary part is, I don't think any of them are a guarantee to return. The 3 players, Oscar Tshiebwe, former All-American National Player of the Year, Antonio Reeves, a sharpshooter who really came on strong late, most notably 37 points in the SEC season finale at Arkansas, and Chris Livingston, kind of a projected guy and a project guy and all that. So right now, Kentucky has 7 guys. 3 guys are testing. Here's the scary part. None of them right now are like a lock to come back. Like, there are some guys that are just going to take this to the end, see what's out there, and come back. There is no guarantee that any of them are coming back. And there's actually increasing buzz that Antonio Reeves, a player who many believed he's just going to test and he'll eventually be back, that he could actually be hitting the portal as a graduate transfer. Now, the positive news, I would say that over the last 2-3 weeks, it has become increasingly more likely that Oscar Tshiebwe does return. And again, we're going to figure this out over the coming days, coming hours, really. But at this point, I think you kind of need Oscar Tshiebwe back, right? Like, you are not going to find somebody in the portal who, a few things. One, you're not finding anybody in the portal that's going to get you 13, 14 boards a game. But 2, that knows the program, that knows John Calipari, that knows the idiosyncrasies of what he does and how he runs that program. And you also just need some veterans in that locker room that have been there and been through it. So the good news is it's increasingly looking like you're going to get back Oscar Tshiebwe. I still think that Antonio Reeves can be talked into returning, because you go into the portal, and I get it. It's exciting. There's new ideas, new options. Everybody's going to promise you the world. But you were just at Kentucky on the biggest stage in college basketball and were really a breakout guy over the last probably 6 weeks of the season. Convince him to come back. Now you have a veteran, a shooter. Yes, I get that there are other young guards on that roster, but you can't tell me there aren't a lot of minutes to be had for Antonio Reeves. So my hunch is that he comes back. And then finally, Chris Livingston. I don't think it's going to happen. I guess the only positive to that is that Chris Livingston has not yet officially announced that he's staying in, although even his statement when he announced he was declaring did not seem as though he's coming back. I don't think he's coming back. We can argue whether he should, whether he shouldn't. I see the tools that have NBA people excited, but he's another guy that feels like a year away. But you talk about what's going on at Kentucky, and I'm sure after the deadline, one way or another, we'll be talking about them, but a program that needs some good news right now. My hunch, and I'll be honest, my hope is that Oscar Tshiebwe and Antonio Reeves come back, because you really just need some bodies at this point, and obviously some quality bodies. Still think they have work to do in the portal, by the way, but it starts with this draft deadline, and man, oh man, we went from probably not wanting Oscar at all back to now it's like you kind of need him going forward.